Morning. Joshua, that's good. I just remembered that. That's good, Joshua. I forgot. Oh, hey, man. We take the money from the impatient and the egotistical and we move it to the wallets of the patient, the. What's another good adjective for that? We take the money from the impatient, the egotistical, the I told you so people, to the patient, wait for something to develop, understand that the market can do anything, right? And the reaction, the people who react, right? That's how the market works. Now, right? You can either be on this side or you can be on this side, right? You can either stick to a strategy, trade what the market gives you, or you can come in and think that you know it all. That's all it is. That's all it is. All right, that's the market. That's the market. But we need them, right? We need those people. That's how we make money. All right? That's the market. We need the people that are not patient. That's how we make our money. How else are we going to make our money if we don't take it from someone else? So, yeah, man. It is what it is. If you know me, if you know anything about me, if you're in the Discord, or if you're, around me, talk to me, anything like that, you know that the I told you so, that is my biggest pet peeve. I literally throw people out of the Discord for acting like that. I can't stand it. All right, that is not something that I will be around, and I will not stand for it. Told you so. You should have done that. Why didn't you listen? It's just, there's absolutely no time to be like that. Not in this market. Not in this market. All right, let's get started. So, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for being here again. Yesterday was something, huh? Yesterday was something. And, I mean, we couldn't have called it better in the chat. And I know I might sound cocky here, but, man, was it nice yesterday. I mean, right, came in yesterday morning, got that big push, didn't touch a single trade until we saw some type of, actual direction on the market. Didn't get aggressive at open, waited for the real direction to step in. Just knew that this market is a you-know-what, and you just can't trust. You cannot trust anything. You just have to trade the intraday move. So, did it great yesterday by just waiting for the actual move to set up. Where was the clear direction intraday, right? Not getting emotional or anything like that over the pre-market push to the upside, and just traded the direction that it gave us, right? If you came into yesterday with a clear head, it was actually a quite easy day, right? We just trended down all day. So let's do that again, right? Let's do that again. We come into today, no bias. Just let's see what the market gives us intraday. That's the biggest thing that we can do these days. That's how we save our money. That's how we take advantage of this volatility and the undecisiveness of the market. So yesterday definitely did some things that make me bearish, right? There's definitely some things that I see that looks pretty damn bearish. And, I want to be bearish today, but what do I have? What do I have in my way today? I have a lot of stuff, right? I have the federal funds announcement. I have Jerome Powell speaking. And we just, I can't get overly confident into a day like that, right? I mean, I'll try to see what the intraday looks like before 2 o'clock today. See if there's any type of movement, any type of direction that I can try to trade. But can I start taking bearish swing trades into an FOMC announcement? Nah, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Right? Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I would rather wait for the the 2 o'clock move and then see if that can give us a little bit more confirmation to a single direction. So today, it's all about short-term trades before 2 o'clock, I think. We'll go over some of the technical levels, what happened today, and we'll talk about yesterday. I'll go over what I was sort of looking at yesterday as well, all right? So let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Thanks again for being here. I'm, grateful for you to be here. Grateful that you guys continue to come back to the stream. Thank you so much. It's incredible. We're almost a whole year. I mean, I don't know when my first live stream was, but it would be interesting to go back and rewatch my first live stream. I'm probably going to do that today to see what I was like that day. So let's do it. All right. Today's the 14th, 12/14 futures economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pop that up right quick. So here we go. Economic calendar. Here's the big one. So yesterday, right? CPI. We got our CPI. It was lower than expected. We got our push in the pre-market. My thesis as to why this happened yesterday is that I think people just don't trust, we need to hear it from Jerome Powell, right? CPI, yes, it was lower than expected. It was, positive reading. Now, maybe I underestimated how much we needed to wait for, because I was, coming into yesterday, I was like, okay, that's a good reading. We probably could see some continuation off that. That's a pretty good CPI number. It's lower than the expected. Probably see some upside continuation. Now, didn't do anything off that. Just sort of waited to see where the continuation came in. It never happened. And then I started to think, okay, I think this market just is not comfortable without actually hearing from Jerome Powell whether these rates are going to slow down or whether that is enough for the Federal Reserve to actually slow down on their federal funds rates, right? Is the CPI reading yesterday actually enough to get the Fed to slow down, right? We don't know. You don't really quite know. So that's something I think probably caused some of the weakness yesterday. Just not a whole lot of belief that this is going to continue. It's a very interesting day, right? A very interesting yesterday. And I'm not going to try to exactly explain why that occurred. But my best guess is that profit taking, right? Still a weak market overall, still a weak market, no willingness to actually continue to push this market higher, right? Just an unwillingness to be fully invested or to start to buy this upside. And then on top of that, just an indecision into today on the federal funds, and indecision into today with Jerome Powell speaking, right? So let's that's my opinion. And then Tesla doesn't help, right? Tesla getting killed is just doesn't help at all, right? So today's Wednesday, federal funds rate announcement, federal funds, and that's the median federal funds rate for end of 2023, and then Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking. This is going to be a pretty massive event here today. Should be very interesting. Also, guys, right? Again, right? I said this yesterday on the stream, and I'll say it again. And there's nothing wrong. Don't take what I say as a negative. It's just a learning lesson. If you came in yesterday, if you were a newer trader, right, and I can't blame you, right? If you're a newer trader and you bought calls yesterday near the open, I can't blame you because you're not experienced with how crazy a market can be. And if you lost some money trying to play upside yesterday after a big pre-market, high emotions, right? Emotions are going, and you lost some money because you played the upside. This is a side effect of trading around economic news, right? If you're not experienced with how crazy the market can be around economic news and you're a newer trader, just don't trade, because this is not a good time to be trading if you're not familiar with how crazy this can be around this economic news. So if you're newer, just leave it alone, guys. It's not going to be as easy as you would hope. So if you're new to trading, today's another day that you need to be very cautious. Federal funds rate, there could be a big pop at 2 o'clock, and there could be an even bigger drop at 2:30. There could be a big drop at 2 o'clock and even bigger pop at 2:30, right? This is not going to be, we move one way and we just continue to go that way, and I can just hold my calls or I can hold my puts. This is going to be another crazy day. 2 o'clock is going to be a move. 2:30 is going to be a move. And if you're not experienced with this type of thing, I'm trying to save your money. It might be better just not to do anything today. Now, if you're experienced, right, you guys don't need to listen to me. If you've done this before, if you've traded this before, right, if you know what you're doing, then don't listen to me. But I'm trying to talk for the newer trader. Today is just simply not the great day to be, throwing money at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So 2 o'clock, 2:30, big day today. Let's see what happens. All right. Netflix, 3:30, major rejection level. I would be watching this today. I would continue to watch this today and tomorrow and the next day. And until this thing rejects, I would be watching Netflix. Very big. Tesla 150, weekly chart, 150 level, this level. This is a big weekly chart. Potential support, but I'm not saying there's any support on Tesla as of right now because that thing is getting crushed. AMD, 75, big time rejection at 75. Google, big time rejection at 100. We'll watch this. Caterpillar and Boeing. So Sierra actually reminded me of these two. I talked about Cat yesterday. I didn't talk about Boeing, but I like these plays. If there is downside on the market, on the entire market, I believe that there will be an opportunity on the Dow Jones to the downside more than anything else on some of these overextended Dow names. Stocks like UNH, stocks like Caterpillar, like Boeing, what else? There's a few others. I just can't think of them. But these Dow Jones names that are just extremely pushed to the upside and still are holding up, I think there could be some opportunity on that in the near future. So I will definitely be watching some of these Dow Jones names, such as Caterpillar and Boeing, for potential downside. TSM is another one I'm keeping an eye out for. TSM's been completely sideways. If TSM finds any type of move outside of that channel, I would definitely be eyeing this. And then Home Depot, 330. I want to see if Home Depot holds 330. If it does not, there could be downside. If it does, if the market finds upside today, then I would be watching Home Depot 330. All right, I'll show you guys why. All right, let's get started. Let's do it. Let's have a great day. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday. So, what happened yesterday? Well, we got a push in the we got a push here in the morning up to the 200 SMA, right near it on the NASDAQ, and just sort of gave this all back yesterday. I don't see a particular level here on the NASDAQ as to where this rejected. It's sort of right in the middle. It's really not any kind of, right? It's really not any type of distinct level, right? Around this 12,338, 12,340. Really don't see like a clear rejection point there on the NASDAQ. I think there's a little bit more of a distinct rejection point on the ES, and I think that is possibly why the NASDAQ did slip that ES rejection around that 4180. But regardless of that, we can see very clearly here, if we go to the hourly chart, this thing literally just came right back into the channel, right? And there is nothing quite bullish about the fact that we broke out of a channel and we quickly came back under it, and we just are simply stuck within this channel. Yeah, I know that. Okay, yeah, did the NASDAQ do it too? Because I know the ES did. Maybe it was the NASDAQ as well. Was that downtrend there for the NASDAQ? I forgot to. I've been really just focusing on the ES downtrend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It pretty much. Yeah, I right there, smiked. I see you. I see that. Yeah, so you got the downtrend there, right, on the Nasdaq, which definitely rejected. But you can see here, guys, right? We are literally right back in this channel, and at this point, right, you don't quite know. There's still no direction, and today's gonna be, another very important part to this, into this continuation on the market. So you got your rejection here, you got your rejection here at 12,100, and when the Nasdaq fell back under 12,100 yesterday, that was my sign to be more bearish than I already was intraday. If we go to the 5-minute chart here, it was this one right here, right? This drop right here, this little bear flag, this is where I caught a pretty big chunk of my Netflix profits. This little bear flag intraday yesterday into this 12-1 area, and this slip through it. This was your crack back into the channel right here. This was like the movie Get Out, when that guy was falling into the under that, I don't know what the hell that was called, but you know what I'm trying to say. This fall was like the momentum killer of yesterday, right? Because this was a push. This was an attempt at a previous high hold, right? We attempted to hold that previous channel high. We could not. And you can see we channeled, we bear flagged, and then that was sort of your momentum killer yesterday, right into that, back into the channel, back under the 100 SMA, and yeah, right, you can see it right here. That was the sunken place. Yes, we are back into the sunken place here. That is exactly right. This is the sunken place in this area. You're just stuck in it. You're stuck in the mud, and you can't get out. So that fall back into the sunken place was just like it was just the deal killer yesterday for the bulls. It was the momentum killer. It was the nail in the coffin. And now we are just simply right back into this channel, right? 12,100 and 11,500. Just a sideways move. So today, Jerome Powell. If it wasn't for Jerome Powell, I would be very bearish. If it was not for Jerome Powell, I would be very bearish. And you probably still could be bearish here. But I can't get myself to take convicted decisions, convicted positions here until I hear and see what the market does off of today's economic news. I just simply can't. I can't allow myself to get like that, right? I can't allow myself to take convicted plays with major macroeconomic news. It's just something I will not allow myself to do. I would rather miss out on the move. I would rather save my money than be wrong here in a big major way. So rejection, 100 SMA holding this market down. NASDAQ back within the channel. Rejected the downtrend, back into the sunken place. Today's another important day to see where that moves, right? That's 12,100. Really, the only things I would pay attention to is 12,100. 12,100 to 11,500, right? Today, we're not going to hold some wimpy level in here, I don't think, right? I don't think you're going to find some hold in between this channel. You're either going to get a pretty major move to the channel low or a pretty major breakout of this downtrend again. But, I don't think you're going to push down 2% here and hold this random level on Jerome Powell. I think you're going to be either testing this channel low or breaking it. Or seeing the break of the upside. So 12,100, 11,500, right? That's the channel I would be watching. ES. So the ES, what a rejection of the downtrend yesterday. But also, if we just sort of look out here, right? Let's take the downtrend off first. All right, actually, we'll leave it there. But you can see right here, right? Rejection of the ES. This was around 41.75, and look at that rejection that came in yesterday. This was even before CPI, right? Or as CPI came out. We were talking about this level pre-market yesterday, saying watch out for 41.75, right? That's a very big level on the 4-hour chart, and this could be your rejection point. So that was crazy, right? A crazy rejection up there. and then what happened intraday, which is actually a very big thing. So if you see this downtrend, right? You see the downtrend on the daily chart. There's your downtrend on the daily chart. Very major rejection of that downtrend on the daily chart. And even, I want to show you guys a short term, right? Look at this yesterday. Right, look at how this thing is reacting around this downtrend. So you tried to hold it here, actually, I think, intraday yesterday. Fell below it. Once you fell below it, look at what we did here. Look at this little rejection. So we fell back below that long-term downtrend yesterday around 11:45. And then look at the little rejection that came in right at the downtrend. So that's pretty crazy. You can see very nice rejection right at the downtrend, and then we just couldn't get over it. We tried again here, failed. Right, and couldn't get over it, and now we are still right. We are still right back below that downtrend. So a little bit concerning, right? We are back below the 2021 downtrend. That's pretty major. And then the only thing I would say is watch this 200 SMA, right? If that 200 SMA does anything, it did hold as some support yesterday. So just be careful of that on the ES 200 SMA. Back to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see. Pretty much just sideways, right? Downtrend, 200 SMA. Where the market really starts to break down is if you lose 39.20, right? You lose 39.20, things are gonna get a little slippery. So watch 39.20. That's your big support, and then your rejection levels are pretty clear up here, right? 41.75, long-term downtrend, 200 SMA. Those are the things I would watch here on the ES. Dow Jones. Somehow the Dow Jones still managed to, hold up. I mean, the Dow Jones is still above this 34,250. So you're going to need to break the 34,250 level for downside on the Dow here. That's what I would be looking for. And then look to see if it can flush. The big downside move will come if it flushes this 33,350. Right in here. If we flush these lows at 33,350, then you'll get your downside move. All right, if you get something like this, little rejection play, then you'll get your downside move at 33,350. But Dow's still above these previous highs, so just be careful of that, right? Be careful of that on the intraday. Look at where it held. Look at yesterday's hold. So the Dow came right back down, and look at where it found support yesterday. Right there at 34,250, right? That 34,250 is these previous highs, guys, from the previous push to the upside. This is back in August. You got your big push in August, big leg lower. That high is what we held yesterday. That's right here. So just be careful of that. 34,250 on the Dow. That's got to break if you're looking for downside. Russell's still holding this 1840 level. You guys can see right here. This is the little support that's been coming in on this channel. Right, you can see 1840, 1840, 1840, little triple bottom, and the Russell held it once again yesterday, right? You can see right here. Pushed down to 1840, held it perfectly. That's where you need to break if you want to see downside. 1840 on the Russell, on the small caps. That's what I would be looking for. All right, so NASDAQ, right back into the sunken place. It is a total toss-up today, guys. I mean, I like the bearish action. I like the signs of weakness. That gives me a little bit of insight that this could slip before 2 o'clock today, right? We might be able to catch some pre-FOMC downside. I think that is possible. The way this chart looks, right? This rejection of the 100 SMA, this rejection of the previous double top here, right? We are back into the channel. The next move is likely to maybe retest the bottom side of the channel, right? That's what I would, in a technical world, that's what I would look for. But when you have major economic news, you just can't trust technicals 100%. So we'll see if there's any plays before 2 o'clock today, but we have to protect ourselves today. Tesla, man, I mean, yeah, it's getting hit. And the level that I would be watching is 150. 150 is where I'd be looking for the downside on Tesla here. So 150, it's this previous weekly high over here. It's this whole area right in this general consolidation right around this 150. You guys can see we had previous rejections here for about a pretty long time, about 3 months. And then we are probably needing to retest that level. That's what I'm looking at here. So if we go down to the 10-day 30-minute, you can see where, let me zoom in here. You can see we're starting to get pretty damn close to that 150 area. I think that's where you might need to see it, right? 150, that's going to be interesting. If the market does drop lower, I'm going to be very interested to see how Tesla reacts, right? Does Tesla, I mean, this is only 5%. So if the market really does have another leg lower, Tesla could be in some pain, right? Definitely. I mean, you can't ignore it. Tesla could be in some pain. If we get another leg lower on this market, let's say that happens over the next few weeks, right? This could be definitely in some pain. If it breaks 150, if it starts to slip this previous rejection point, maybe you come down to this like 112 area, 110. You got around 130, but yeah, I mean, if you break this 150, this could get a little interesting here. So just watch out for 150, guys. That's what I would watch. See what it does off 150 off this weekly chart. This is going to be on a lot of people's watches. I have seen like 50 charts of this yesterday on like Twitter and Instagram. Everyone's just saying 150, 150, 150. So a lot of people are eyeing this. Take that information for what you can take that information however you want, right? Maybe there's a contrarian play there. So maybe there's people are going to try to buy it off 150. It might not hold 150. I might be able to play this to the downside, right? If this thing cracks 150, there's going to be I think there's going to be a pretty nice flush. So yeah, take it for what it is. 150, I think, is on everyone's watch here. Previous rejections is 150 whole number. Keep an eye on that level. All right. Netflix. All right. Netflix. There could be some more very massive downside. I mean, if I didn't want to hold my swing trade, but if Netflix takes today with the market, let's say the market takes a hit today on Jerome Powell, I mean, that could have been like a $50,000 trade. I thought about it so many times, and I was like, stop thinking like that. Stop thinking. It was so hard not to hold something overnight. As you know, I'm human too, guys, right? I am a human being, and when I'm up, and I see I'm in a good position, sometimes there's that greed that steps in, but I had to take it all off. But I think there is definitely more here on Netflix. I will definitely be watching this for continuation. Really, a slow move to the upside on pretty much non-existent volume here. I mean, it's decent, but it's nothing crazy. It's pretty much average of the entire move. It's a decent volume move, but it's something that if this market if this market weakens here today, if we get any type of downside, right? Look at how perfect this setup could be, right? Look at how perfect this setup could be. You have a previous double bottom support level here, the gap fill level. You pushed right into it. You got a pretty nasty rejection candle yesterday. I mean, if this thing breaks this little uptrend, right? If you look at this, if we get this break of this uptrend, right, we could easily give back some of this move. I mean, we could see maybe a move to 250, right? If you see a larger overall downside move on the market, I mean, you could see a move down to this previous high around 250. I think that's very possible. Or you could just see a move back down to this uptrend, which is 302. That in itself is another very big move, right? That's another almost 10% move to the downside, a little bit less, but a nice move to the downside, which could be very profitable. So I will definitely continue to be watching this 330 area. Here's some levels that I would watch in the short term that you need to break for this to continue to the downside. The first one is going to be, I think, around this 320 area. Let me zoom out here. Here we go. So the first level that will need to break for you to get any type of downside continuation, in my opinion, is first 320, right? That's what I would be watching here, 320 on Netflix. Keep an eye on that. If that can break down, potentially more downside. You guys saw what happened when Netflix broke 320 on Monday of this week. If I go to the 5-minute chart, Look at the 320 break on Monday of this week. A slip, a very aggressive slip, right? So if we start to lose that 320 again, keep an eye on that. That will be big. The next level that I would be watching is out here at these previous highs, right around this 311, 310. That would be my next level, right? That would be where I could think we could find support. So if you start to break down some of these levels, let's say you break down 320, you probably test the 310, 311. That's exactly what happened on Monday, right? Look at Monday. You had this previous drop, held the support at 311. So if you come back down, maybe you get a little bit of support that comes in here at 311. If you slip this 311, right, then I think the party gets started here. All right, so 320, 310, 311, right? Those are the levels I would watch here. Keep an eye on this 330 rejection on Netflix, guys. This could be money. We just have to see how this market reacts. AMD, what a crazy 75 rejection on AMD yesterday. I mean, wild. It just got nailed right off of it. So you guys can see right here, we've had this sort of zone here around the 75 to around this 78 on AMD. It's been a little bit of a zone. It hasn't been a perfect level, but we know that if we go out to the weekly chart, right? Remember I talked about this weekly chart. Look at what this thing did off 75 yesterday. So we have a weekly chart previous support here. This is between 2020, August 2020 to May 2021, right? This is a huge level. I mean, this sat here for like a year, and we just sort of held support at 75. Look at what happened when we came into 75 yesterday. I mean, we got absolutely rejected beyond belief. So huge push in the 75 on CPI, and then just a straight downside move off of it. That was sick. I know a lot of you guys actually caught this, so congratulations. But again, that longer term analysis came into play yesterday. So now I would look to see, right? I think the bigger play here on AMD now, unless you can get another 75 rejection play, the bigger play here is a break and retest of 69, right? That's your next big play if you're looking for downside. So I would wait for a break and retest of 69, or I would look for a rejection of 75. Those would be the two watches I'd have on AMD. But just wanted to show you guys that rejection. That 75 level is pretty aggressive up there. Chef, probably a little bit more natural than like a straight up move. Yes. So that is something that, Netflix definitely has been a strong name, right? You can't deny that. It's been stronger than most. Google. I just wanted to point out the $100 rejection, guys. This was a pretty major rejection as well. You guys can see right here, big time rejection points up at 100, right here up at 100. And then yesterday we tapped that 100. We were off by 20 cents, and then that was your downside move. So today I would be looking to see, all right, can Google, let me go to the hourly chart here. Let me get a little bit more time. Okay, so you can see Google is within this channel again. So I still think there's opportunity here, right? If you can get another maybe rejection of 100, same thing as AMD, I'd look for that. Or if you can actually start to break down this low around 94. I know it pushed lower but then creeped back up. I would look to see if this can do the same thing again. Possibly opportunity underneath this channel. So 94 to 100, that's your channel on Google. See if there's a breakdown of this 94 level today, or see if there's a rejection of 100. But that 100 level definitely showed itself yesterday. Caterpillar. This is going to be an interesting one, right? If the Dow does lose some strength, there is definitely some reason to be bearish here on Cat. So I would watch this as well. I've been sort of eyeing this setup myself. You can see a rejection here around this 240, and you can see the quadruple top that has now formed here at 240 on Cat. So rejection, 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 rejection. Yesterday, look at that candle yesterday. Look at this daily chart candle, right? That is a rejection candle on the daily chart. So let's watch this one, right? If Caterpillar can break this 225 level, this little consolidation, I think there is definitely some opportunity here. If we go to, I bet you if I go to the volume profile, it'll sort of explain that. What the hell is this? There we go. You're going to need it on the shorter term. What is this? This is like July. No. Let me just get more time here. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit gappy in there. It's nothing crazy, not as much as I would have expected, but you can see there is some low volume gaps in there, right? Probably from around 225 to around 220. It picks back up here a little bit in this consolidation right here. And then under that, it gets gappy again from like around 212 to around 200. So, I mean, overall, this looks like some pretty interesting low volume gaps that you might be able to take advantage of to the downside. But yeah, Caterpillar under this 225. You need it to break first, though, guys. Right? We can't just get too aggressive here yet. Let's wait for it to start to really show that weakness. You might be able to try to. I mean, you could try to take it here. You just need to have your stops in place, right? You got to have your risk management in place. If it breaks above 240, you can't hope and pray. You got to jump out, right? You were wrong, right? You got to admit when you're wrong. If it breaks 240, I would probably get out of the trade. But if you can get this here and it starts to reject 240, possibly breaks this 225 low, I think you got yourself a nice move here, right? I think you got yourself a nice move here. So watch that. On Caterpillar, Boeing, pretty low volume area on Boeing too, but that's less important now. I'm going to take that off for now. If we go to the 4 hour on Boeing, I want to show you where Boeing is rejecting, and this is a pretty major level on Boeing. So, Boeing, we've talked about this one, right? We've talked about this 190 level. This is a big level on Boeing. So you have previous support, and rejection like 4 or 5 times up here on Boeing, around 190. So if Boeing can't get above this 190, right, it's had a nice move. It's had a nice continuation move. But just watch out for this 190 area. Yesterday, when we tried to break through that level, we got very quickly rejected. Keep an eye on how we react here today, right? If we start seeing stuff like this intraday, maybe a little double top, a little higher, lower high, little maybe fake, a little push there, and then we just, let's say we create this like intraday low, something like this, and then you guys start to see this thing flush, breaks that low and starts to break maybe yesterday's low, something like this, right? If you start seeing this thing reject this 190 intraday, you're starting to see that weakness step in, and this starts to flush. Right, there could be a setup here, right? This 190 level is very aggressive, very stuck. It's a very heavy level above. So just keep an eye on that 190 today on Boeing. See if there's anything that sets up off that level. Still watching TSM, both directions, but I'm a little bit more biased to seeing if it can fill these gaps. So you guys can see here on TSM, we've had this channel that has been just... It's been between 4 points for almost a month now. I mean, we've traded between 4 points for almost a month. There will be a move outside of this channel, right? There will be a move on the outside of this channel. Depends on which way and when. If I go to the daily chart, I'm a little bit more biased to seeing if we can get these gap fills, right? Look at these gaps on TSM. I mean, these are some crazy gaps, even one here on TSM. I'm going to be looking to see if I can catch some of these gap fills on TSM. If it can break this 78 with some power to the downside, I think you can get a nice move. But we got to wait, right? We got to wait. I just wanted to bring it up. It's not anything yet, but I wanted to bring it up. All right, Home Depot. Home Depot, you guys can see right here, we have a previous rejection points at 330. It broke out of it yesterday. It did pull all the way back in, but sort of held it, right? It sort of held it. So I am not opposed to, if the market does find upside today, I'm not opposed to seeing if there's upside on Home Depot, right? That is a nice pullback on Home Depot. That is a break, a retest intraday. If this holds 330, right, I could see some upside continuation here. This is a previous double top rejection point, turning into potential support. If Home Depot holds 330, if there is market strength, then that's something I'm going to watch. If there's market strength, I am also going to be watching Costco. All right, Costco here off 485. That's something I'm going to be watching as well. This is a nice 4-hour demand area. You guys can see right here. Previous support. If we find a support here around 485, right here's the previous support. If we do that same thing where we curl off 45 and start to push to the upside, I want to be watching Costco for a little bit of a bounce play here. That's if the market's strong. Costco, Home Depot, I don't mind those plays for that potential upside off these demand levels. All right, unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip the tickers that you guys want to look at today. I'm going to go over the futures one more time, but I got a little bit of a late start this morning, so I have to go and post some charts in the Discord and prepare there. So I do need to save a little bit more time than usual today. Once again, to close the stream out, rejections on the NASDAQ, 12,100, 11,500. That's your channel. Please be careful before 2 o'clock today. You do not know what's going to happen. No matter what you think you know, I can guarantee you that you don't. You don't know. I'll guarantee you that. You don't know with 100% certainty. You may think you do, right? You may think you do. You might have the fallacy of believing that, you're making yourself believe that you're right, but you don't. What we do in the market is we wait for a continuation, we wait for reactions, and we trade the momentum. We trade what's happening. We do not try to guess. There is no room for guessing, okay? Watch this channel. If we start to break down on Jerome Powell, this could be a very nice channel low push to around 11.5. If we break out, look to see if it continues. Today is not the day to get aggressive over economic data. I know a lot of people go out there and chase FOMC days. I know a lot of people go out there and try to make a bag on FOMC, right? Because this is how trading is. We make bags on FOMC. Please, if you want to trade long-term, you do not trade on FOMC. If you want to try to make a bag on FOMC and Jerome Powell and Papa Powell and, all this, then go ahead, throw a couple $1,000s and hope that you're right. All right, that's up to you. But that's not how you trade, right? Let's see what happens today. Let's see if there's any type of momentum, if our strategy sets up. And if it does, we take the continuation. If it doesn't, then we leave it alone. All right, guys. Hopefully I can be your voice of reason. Sometimes I get a little bit, I'm against the the fun of trading, because trading is not fun. It's statistical. It's statistics. It's strategy. And no one really gets anywhere when they're having fun. So, congratulations on making it another day. Thank you guys again for being here. Hopefully you had a good morning. Hopefully you enjoy the live streams. Hopefully you learn something from them. Hopefully it helps you become an actual trader, a real trader, something that can be consistent over time. All right. So press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.